So I was sitting down last night, had my feet kicked up on my table, and was just kind of watching this debate and seeing Cruz perform well compared to his competitors for the Republican nomination. And the only thing I could keep thinking about every time he spoke, every time he let out some words, was how can he attract young voters? Now, of course, he's one of the younger candidates running. It's him, Rubio, and Jindal, if I remember correctly, are the youngest out of this pack. My mistake. Uh, and I think what really can best be done to sort of get that group of voters from 18 to, I want to say maybe 30, just people younger than him, is to sell the narrative. A lot of times they talk about people when they have positions working somewhere, they'll end up having to sort of work their way to the top, and years will go by, and you get older, and your hair starts graying, and you're an old man now, and you've worked up, and that's the case with Graham and some other people running right now who are in their 60s and elderly and all that, are just kind of bordering on being old, considered old by the whippersnappers of today. But in Cruz's case, that's not the case. Say it twice because it's doubly nice. He is 44. And no, I didn't just look at Wikipedia or any other site. Which, with that fact alone, he could easily present the narrative that, yes, I went to Princeton and Harvard. And because of this, I was able to be in law for as long as I was before I ran for senator from Texas, or for the Senate in Texas. And I was elected. And I became the youngest Solicitor General. I think so. I'm not sure. I'll have to go check out Wikipedia later. But if he presents that narrative of, oh, just have hard work, because see, it can be very compelling, just in the fact that he has this background, or his parents have this background of bordering on poverty, being below middle class, working and getting minimum wage of cents and change, and just not doing very well. And when you go from that to going to Ivy League schools, like I personally, in just a bipartisan, a nonpartisan look at this, find that very impressive. And I'm sure other young voters would feel the same way as well. But the problem is that's not the narrative they're selling. The only narrative we're getting is just, oh, I'm a senator from Texas. I've been in there. I've been, rallying the troops. I've been sticking up for conservatives, and that's great. But the only way to win a national election is to appeal to other groups. And it doesn't require changing who you are or saying, oh, I'm not me anymore. Did you think I was me? Oh, you were misconceived. It has nothing to do with that. The best way to present yourself in a way that is impressive to other people is to just look at the fact that you are someone of not only minority, but also of a young age, running for the highest office in the land, and explain how you got there. Now, I know how he got there, but other people on the street, people that are encountered every day by other Americans, they don't know that story. I know this stuff because it's in my interest. I go, oh, yeah, I want to see. Let me learn about Ted Cruz today. But people on the street and people around the world are not looking up the man's story. Now, if his campaign goes and says, hey, this is how Senator Cruz was able to get to where he is today. He studied, and he got into Princeton, went to Harvard, and became a lawyer, and then was appointed Solicitor General, and wanted to run for Attorney General, but was blocked because the incumbent Attorney General ran for re-election. But he didn't sweat it. He went back to law, and then announced the following year that he was running for senator from Texas, and then he won, and he was so impressive in that role that now some of us want him to be president. They could easily do that, and everybody, I guarantee, go, oh, I'd never heard of that. Oh, I didn't know that existed. Oh, I didn't know that's what happened. I just thought he was a random guy who came out of nowhere. And that's really the kind of the leap a lot of senators make from winning statewide elections, getting the national exposure. You had Tom Cotton, who I'd never heard of. I'd never heard of Cruz before he won the Senate seat. But it's the same thing of just moving up, going up the ladder. So all I'm saying is if he is able to present that narrative, if his campaign says, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's use that. Let's talk about his past and let's talk about him being this self-made man," which that's really what he is, regardless of how one feels about his policies. The guy, again, had parents who were not making money that would even be considered middle class for the time, and then he's going to, now he's this elected official, this statewide elected official running for president of the United States. If that narrative was told, I guarantee most people would find that so impressive. They would just, it would make their head spin. But seriously, that's the only way they can appeal to people who are young, who are not politically savvy, who have never heard of Ted Cruz, who are in college, who think that it's a waste of time, who think they'll never amount to anything. That's the best way to get those people. If they don't do that, I don't think they're going to win. If they do that, if they really do, if they go and present this narrative and say, okay, this is what he did. Here's what happened to